What does the house of Israel have to do with you? If you've ever received a patriarchal blessing, or when you eventually do, you'll probably be told what your lineage is in the house of Israel. But what does that even mean, and does it matter? Let's find out. To understand the house of Israel, we have to go back to the beginning, literally to Adam. From the beginning, God made covenants with Adam and with every righteous patriarch who came after him: Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses. These weren't different covenants, it was the same overarching covenant renewed again and again. Even though Adam received it first, we usually call it the Abrahamic covenant because Abraham is the one through whom God promised that all nations of the earth would be blessed. The Abrahamic covenant includes 4 major promises. First, posterity. Anyone who makes covenants with God can be adopted into Abraham's family. Second, priesthood and gospel. Abraham's family would carry the gospel and priesthood blessings to all the world. Third, promised land. God promised Abraham and his descendants an inheritance of land. And fourth, persistent grace. God will be faithful to his covenant people, even when they struggle to be faithful. These promises become the backbone of everything that happens in Scripture afterward. Now that's all nice and lovely, but what does it have to do with the house of Israel? Abraham's grandson Jacob had his name changed to Israel, and he had 12 sons. God renewed the covenant with Israel, and all 12 of his sons entered into it. Their descendants became the 12 tribes of Israel, or collectively, the house of Israel. But here's where things get a little confusing. Before Jacob died, he adopted Joseph's 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, as his own. This meant Joseph received a double portion. So why do we still talk about 12 tribes when Jacob technically had 14 sons? Here's the simple explanation. When the Israelites entered the Promised Land, the land was divided into 12 inheritances. The tribe of Joseph did not receive land under his own name. Instead, his 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, each received land. That brings us to 13 land-holding tribes. What about that one extra tribe? Levi's posterity was set apart for temple service. They didn't receive land. Their inheritance was the priesthood and temple responsibility. So the land was divided among 12 tribes, everyone except Joseph and Levi, keeping the traditional number at 12. So what does this have to do with you? When your patriarchal blessing declares your lineage, 2 things are happening. First, God is affirming that you are part of his covenant family. That means the Abrahamic promises apply to you personally. Posterity, you belong to God's family through covenant. Priesthood and gospel, you have the privilege and responsibility to bring the gospel to the world. Promised land, you inherit spiritual and eventually literal blessings tied to God's kingdom. And persistent grace, God will never, ever give up on you. Now, second, your lineage hints at your future responsibilities. While all 12 tribes share the Abrahamic mission, different tribes were historically given different stewardships. And while we don't have many details about what those different stewardships are, according to many Latter-day Saints scholars and leaders, those roles will matter a lot in the future. Brother Brad Wilcox put it this way: when Jesus comes to rule and reign, your tribe will matter a great deal. Billions of people will immediately want to learn about him and his church. If we wait until that moment to get organized, it will be too late. We need to have strong and experienced leaders already in place throughout the world, not only to handle dramatic growth of the church, but also the additional temporal responsibilities that will be ours when the government shall be upon Christ's shoulder. In other words, your lineage in the house of Israel isn't a fun fact. It's a calling to gather Israel right now, a reminder of your amazing privileges, and a chance to prepare for the great work Christ will call you to do when he comes again. And that's what the house of Israel has to do with you.